Hi, I'm Keith, and welcome to my art studio, where today I have something extra special. I spent the whole day making 3 different works of art, and this one here was the first one. This is my Velociraptor head. He's ink wash, he's pencil, and colored pencil. If you stay tuned, you can watch me make him. If you're new to my channel, this is what I do. Lots of monsters. Dinosaurs, dragons, basically anything with teeth and fangs and horns. But I do it in a artistic style. It's just the subject matter is just what I enjoy doing. This here is a Velociraptor head. It starts off with my pencil. One thing I think I do pretty good is penciling. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I've been doing this for a long time. And I'll tell you, being an artist on YouTube is tough. It's very defeating. If you don't get followers or any comments, it kind of makes you wonder if you're as good as you think you are. Now, right now I am penciling in and doing all my cross-hatching and contour lines. That's the way I work. I start off with the contour lines and add all kinds of little that gadgets here and there. And to me, this is one of the funnest parts of being an artist is the pencil work. This has more pencil, a little bit of paint, but if you look right here, I'm starting to put in some texture. And recently, I've got into texture a bunch. These are scales. Or little bumps or whatever that's on the dinosaur. Now, nobody knows that they had these things, but you know some lizards do. So people tend to make their dinosaurs give like lizards with lizard skin, and I think it's a pretty cool look. And you have to make the little scales just right, so they're going around the edges and whatnot, in different sizes. You want to keep it different so it doesn't look boring. So this is the fun part for me. I get to go in and I get to make my own little image, style it the way I want to. I tend to do a lot of cross-hatching right there. I tend to darken my edges because I'm into comic book art a bit. Now, I don't follow any particular comic books. I don't even think I own 2 of them, maybe 3. But I've seen enough comic book art in my life to know how it works, and I do follow it a lot. Now I'm putting on my ink wash. Ink wash, if you subscribe to my channel, which I hope you do, you're going to see I use quite a bit. And ink wash to me is the coolest thing next to I don't know what, because it gives you such a cool roundness to your edges. And when it dries, it's kind of like watercolor without the color. I love ink wash. Now, one thing about the people who follow my page, I have 350 at this time, is I don't know who follows me. I know on Instagram most of my followers are artists, and which is great. That's fantastic. But I'd like to have more of the common folk. I mean, can you imagine being in a rock and roll band and touring, and the only people who ever showed up to your gigs were other bands? I used to be in a band. I played guitar and bass, whatnot, and there were a few people who showed up who were in bands, a few. But most of the folks are there just looking to have a good time. And I think that watching somebody do art is a very good time. I was a kid. I used to watch Bob Ross all the time, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was another artist on, it's like public television. He did a lot of charcoal stuff. I cannot tell you who he was or anything about it. I was like 7 years old. But he did a lot of things with cubes and perspective, and I learned a lot about perspective just watching that guy on public TV. Now, if you're an artist and want to learn something, I hope I teach you something here, just by watching. I learned how to draw by observing others and by observing art. I've been in art classes all my life. I took 4 years in high school. I went to 4 years in college, and I can't remember a teacher once ever setting up a demonstration and actually drawing for us to watch. Normally, in an art class, they'll set up some sort of a still life. You get your paper, and teacher says, ready, set, go. And then you go. Oh, right now I'm adding my green colored pencil. I bought a colored pencil set last week. I haven't used colored pencils a whole lot in my life, so I want to try something different here. The first part of my channel is all acrylic painting. So if you watch this and you subscribe, I suggest you go back to my playlist and look at my beginning stuff, because it's pretty decent acrylic monsters. But anyway, as far as the teaching goes, they don't demonstrate. They give you something to do, then they walk around and they critique you. And to me, that's not really a way to learn. I learn by listening to a teacher. And I wish more teachers would actually an art teacher should lecture in a way with a brush or lecture with a pencil. The teacher should be good enough to teach you what to do. But I've never ran into that. So when I teach people on my YouTube channel, I'm teaching you by showing you. I have a demonstration. You can see how I do my lines. Right now I'm adding some orange to my green because I thought orange and green looked good. I did a similar color scheme on a video 2 days ago, and I love the way it looked. So orange and green together. Now, if I was using paints, I would never mix those two together because I would get a bucket of mud. But I noticed when I use colored pencils, I can do it in a way where they complement each other instead of turning into a muddy mess. So I'm right now going over my outlines, I think. Oh, that's my white pencil. I got into this white pencil stuff because I like to get my darks with ink, then I go over and crosshatch with white. And that's new for me. I've never really done it before, but I think it's an interesting look. So I like that. And right now I'm erasing the middle section there to lighten it up. And I thought that would work, and it kind of did. And then I put some white over it, and that kind of looked okay. It was an experiment. Actually, everything I do is an experiment. Right now I'm using a brush pen. I just discovered these brush pens probably 2 weeks ago. I bought a set, and I love them. Brush pens are cool because it's like using a paintbrush, only you don't have to load it. It's preloaded, and you have more control with the handle. And from now on, I am a brush pen kind of guy. Even though I still like using paint brushes, and you'll see that because when I ink washed, obviously I was using a brush. Now, at this time, I need to ask you to like and subscribe and show this to your friends. If you have friends who are artists, friends who like dinosaurs, friends who are cool. To me, my artwork is kind of the horror movie genre of artwork. I'm not doing pretty pictures. I'm not doing landscapes. I do landscapes if I put it behind a monster, but my subject matter to me has to be interesting to me for me to spend the time. And I love this kind of dinosaur monster look. Dragons. Dragons are cool. What's a dragon? It's a dinosaur with extra fangs and extra horns and stuff. And I do lots of dragons as well. I thought about turning one of these dinosaurs into a dragon, which is just a few steps, but I didn't. I kind of stuck with what I knew. And I have a reference photo here. I don't know if you saw it, but it's probably off camera right now. And I use that reference photo for my shading and for some of my cross-hatching and for my scales. So I want it to look as real as possible. Now this picture, I was very happy with how it turned out. This is the first of 3 I did today. And each one I did a little bit different thing with. This one was super, super basic. I didn't want to get too wacky with this one. So I stuck to the easy way of doing it, which is I didn't add anything to it. With a colored pencil, green and orange, I used the brush pen. I used my 5B, my 8B pencils, and a 2B pencil. And right now I use my highlights, which is basically some white acrylic paint. So this is a mixed media work of art on mixed media paper. A lot of my work I've done earlier was on canvas, but when you get so much artwork, you don't know what to do with it. It's just easier to get a pad, and when you draw, you just flip the page, and that way you can store it and don't have to worry about it. And it's all in one nice, neat container. If I wanted to frame this, I would just rip it out of the book, take it to the framing shop or whatnot, and get it framed. Now, working on paper is different than on canvas because the paper will suck your ink dry very quickly. And sometimes I will throw these in the oven between edits to dry them quicker so I can, I'm not spending all day waiting for my paint to dry. So please like and subscribe and be my buddy and leave comments, lots and lots of comments. I love it when people say stuff. Please leave some comments. And I do want to thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed my first painting of the day.